He's a great fighter.
You think he's a great fighter? What do you think about the credit to you? I mean, you're a legend, my friend.
Well, he'll be one too if he keeps fighting.
Oh, okay.
Why I think that is I've never seen anyone who was as big as this kid move as well as he does. For you to be that big, like 6'5", 250 pounds and only 20 years old, to move that well on your feet.
Talents are so crazy, especially at this age, okay? It is so, what is he, 20, 21? And you know, he's starting to get compared to Mike Tyson as far as his trajectory.
Mike Tyson delivered powerful praise for Moses Itama, stressing how the young heavyweights stand apart from today's generation fighters. Unlike many modern boxers, Itama embodies raw hunger, sharp focus, and a relentless determination that defines true greatness. Tyson highlighted that lasting success in boxing is built on discipline, consistency, and the ability to accept setbacks with dignity. With these rare qualities, Itama has already captured attention in the heavyweight division and is seen as a rising force destined to outshine his peers and secure legendary status.
If you listen, this is the thing. It has nothing to do with you losing. It depends on how you lose. You lose spectacularly, hey, they're gonna always use you. Depends on how you lose. You can lose and win at the same time.
Yeah, your stock can go up.
Yeah.
Some people be like, "Oh, you undefeated? You don't know? You don't understand?" It's like, no, I do understand.
Yes, you do understand.
I came out on top, but I took the risk, and then I had some close ones. But I also remember my last loss and how that made me feel, which made me not want to, lose again. And I just think that, given the climate of the game now with the social, like, you get crucified in boxing if you lose a fight.
Because they don't, the people that watch boxing now don't understand boxing. They look at it from a physical perspective. They don't understand it at all.
Man, Cuss is grooming you and prepping you. And I saw a quote from him that, man, that thing almost brought me to tears. He said, at his age, he said, how do you stay alive? What's your motivation? He said, I'm alive because Mike gives me hope to stay alive. I have a reason with Mike here.
Ariel Helwani, one of the most respected figures in combat sports media, has spoken highly of Moses Adama, crediting him with accomplishing what very few have managed at such a young age. At only 20 years old, Adama is already regarded as one of the most exciting and promising heavyweight prospects in the world. Helwani believes that Adama has a realistic chance of breaking Mike Tyson's long-standing record as the youngest heavyweight champion, a milestone that has become the ultimate standard of youthful greatness in boxing. What makes this recognition meaningful is that it isn't based on hype, but on Adama's consistent progress, flawless performances, and growing reputation within the sport. With analysts and veterans acknowledging his potential, the notion that he could surpass Tyson's record reflects the seriousness of his extraordinary talent.
The boxing, but he's back. He's got his new fight is March the 1st in Bournemouth. So yeah, he's rolling the dice again. He just had a little boy, so he took some time out.
Okay. When did you start to really feel like this could be a career, that you had a special gift? How soon into that, the training journey did you start to realize, like, oh wow, this is what they're saying about me is different?
It's after I sparred Lawrence Okoli, my trainer at the time. He messaged me saying that what you've done today was crazy, unbelievable. If you stick at it, you can be one of the greatest boxers to live, heavyweight, sorry. And then I was like, okay, I'm not bad, but at this point, I'm a two-time European gold medalist, two-time national champion, but I still didn't think I was like,
What truly distinguishes Moses Adama from his peers is not only his remarkable youth, but also the extraordinary way he moves inside the ring. Analysts reviewing his recent performances have consistently highlighted the rare blend of speed and agility he brings to the heavyweight division. Traditionally, heavyweight are recognized for their sheer power and imposing size, rarely for swift footwork or sharp reflexes. Adama, however, defies that stereotype. At just 20 years old, he already demonstrates fluid movements typically associated with lighter divisions. His ability to cut angles smoothly, evade punches with precision, and launch explosive counters keeps opponents constantly unsettled. The striking contrast between his size and his athleticism has experts particularly excited, suggesting that Adama is far more than just a devastating puncher. He is shaping into a complete fighter capable of outmaneuvering even elite heavyweights.
Why I think that is I've never seen anyone who was as big as this kid move as well as he does. For you to be that big, like 6'5", 250 pounds and only 20 years old, to move that well on your feet, to have that level of speed and power. When have we ever seen that before in the history of boxing? Ever. In the last 30 years even. You look at Lennox Lewis, he didn't fucking move like that for the weight. No way. As good as he was, he didn't move like that. AJ, hell of an athlete, he didn't move like that. Tyson Fury was a good mover for a big bloke. He doesn't move like that. He hasn't got that explosive speed. We're witnessing something so fucking special here. This is the most exciting combat sports athlete, any sport, MMA, boxing, whatever you want to talk about, in the world. And he's 20 years old. It's unbelievable. And I get that a lot of people have doubted him because it's hard to believe that guys whom you've respected for the last 15 years can get in a boxing ring against a 20-year-old kid and get the shit beaten out of them. And that emotional connection will make you want to, oh, maybe this will happen. Oh, Dillian Whyte's, he's training hard, he looks in shape. No. It doesn't matter what version of Dillian Whyte shows up. Dillian Whyte could go back through his entire fucking career and pick any version of himself out. You're getting smoked by Moses Atoma because the level difference, it's fucking huge. That's why I only gave him 2 rounds. And I respect Dillian Whyte. I think he is a tough guy. He has had a good career, but just look at the way Dillian Whyte moves, man, and look at the way Moses Atoma moves. This was a really easy one to predict, actually. People are comparing him to Mike Tyson. It's a hell of a compliment.
Showbiz The Adults comparison highlights the true magnitude of Moses Atoma's victory over Dillian Whyte. Much like the doubts that once surrounded Mike Tyson before he demolished Michael Spinks in under 2 minutes, many questioned whether Atoma was prepared for an opponent of Whyte's caliber. The fight provided a definitive answer. Atoma displayed frightening power, composure, and ruthless precision that instantly evoked memories of Tyson's iconic breakthrough. The storyline felt strikingly familiar. A young fighter, under heavy scrutiny, silencing critics in the most emphatic fashion. This parallel emphasizes that Atoma's knockout was not just another victory, but a commanding statement that shifted the narrative of his career and demanded respect.
Experience bout, stuff like that. You know, we never see Moses in this situation, something like that. And I responded by saying, this is going to be Mike Tyson Spinks. Remember that?
Moses will get hit so hard the first. He going to be gun shy for the rest of the fight, like Ryan versus Broly. It's different level. He ain't been tested. That's what he said about. I remember those exact words when Iron Mike Tyson fought Michael Spinks. They said Mike Tyson never been in a ring with somebody of the caliber of Spinks. I'll never forget. So let's see.
And damn it, how identical this shit is just mind-blowing. Check this out.
Dillian Whyte looks a little big-eyed for me. He looks a little nervous for me, man. You gotta make 5 rounds. He looking down and shit. He looked like Michael Spinks, man.
When early comparisons to Mike Tyson began to surface around Moses Atoma, the reaction was both flattering and challenging. Tyson remains one of the most legendary heavyweights of all time, a fighter who dominated his era with ferocity and youthful brilliance. Yet, Atoma has made it clear he does not aspire to be the next Tyson. Instead, he values building his own recognition and forging a legacy unique to his name. Much like Anthony Joshua and other modern champions who refuse to live in anyone's shadow, Atoma's perspective reflects striking maturity. At just 20 years old, he understands that lasting greatness does not come from imitation, but from creating an identity that endures. His determination to be remembered as Moses Atoma, not as comparison, demonstrates a mindset that defines future legends, separating them from those who...
Good thing though, when people are talking about you, and people are, talking about you being maybe the next youngest world heavyweight champion after Mike Tyson, trying to break that record. You're 19 years of age now, talking about your last performance, Marius Wack, big guy, strong guy, been in there, seen it, done it, boxed everyone, was expected to give you rounds. You went in there and took him apart in 2, right? So them expectations are obviously going to be talked about. People are obviously going to do that and compare you with the likes of Mike Tyson, and that is a good thing. And I think the champions feed off that sort of stuff, and that's what you do. You don't let the pressure get you, but you deliver in your performances.
Yeah, with, I've kind of put myself with kind of making the comparison with me and Mike Tyson with completely different styles and whatnot. But I never really wanted to compare to no one. I kind of want to set my own path, but like I said multiple times, obviously Joshua, Fury, Usyk, Tyson, all them lot, they've set their own path, so I want to set my own.
I think it's the age thing, isn't it? With
Yeah,
the
100%.
Mike Tyson thing, you know, where he become the youngest world heavyweight champion, 20 years of age and X amount of months, whatever that was. You're 19. You know, you put yourself in a position now that Frank Warren was on here talking about you boxing Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark. He said tomorrow, now. That's the sort of level he sees you
Of course, if you look at my last fight, obviously that's where they all get their confidence from.
Ade Oladipo expressed a sentiment that has struck a chord throughout the boxing community, that not every fighter needs endless trials to prove their worth. Some display championship qualities long before a belt is secured. Moses Atama's dominant victory over Dillian White was exactly that kind of defining moment. Rather than relying on a long, grueling battle to showcase his ability, Adama revealed in one night the qualities of a future champion. His speed, timing, power, and composure provided clarity far greater than any extended war could. Oladipo's remarks highlight how Atama has transformed perceptions, silencing skeptics and converting them into believers. His performance was undeniable proof that greatness sometimes reveals itself instantly and without question.
He is a heavyweight that moves like a lightweight. Sorry, a light heavyweight. Certainly doesn't move like a lightweight, but a light heavyweight. He just darts in and out so quickly. Like, nothing about him physically looks 240 pounds. Bear in mind, that's the same weight as Daniel Dubois. It's the same height. It's only 10 pounds less than AJ. It's the same height as Dillian White. I'm sorry, same weight as Dillian White. But you look at his frame, he doesn't look that heavy. It's almost like he's very, I don't know, maybe a lot of that weight's in his legs, but he seems to move and glide around the ring so freely. So yeah, look, I'm very excited about him. I thought that if I watched it again, because obviously I made the video yesterday immediately after watching the fight, so I was very high. And I thought, okay, let me watch it again and maybe calm down a little bit. If anything, I've got higher. If anything, I've gone higher. I think he's incredible. I was at the airport with Lee Wood, and Lee Wood obviously trained by Ben Davis, and Lee Wood sees him train all the time. And he was like, dude, I'm not surprised. Like, I see this guy train all the time. I see what he does. I see who he spars. And sometimes you got to listen to those people. Again, we're not privy to any of that. All we see is a couple of rounds or 2 minutes on Fight Night. We don't see anything else, where people like Lee see it week in, week out. So look, I think he's incredible. Let's not waste no time. I've already wasted 5 minutes or so. Let's talk about potential opponents. And this doesn't include, again, the top 3 guys. So this doesn't include Alexander Usyk. I'll tell you who it doesn't include. It doesn't include Alexander Usyk.
Despite the clarity of Moses Atama's victory, some detractors have tried to diminish the achievement by suggesting Dillian White may have been injured. Analysts, however, have strongly rejected this notion, noting that White appeared healthy, composed, and fully prepared during his ring walk. To claim otherwise dismisses the skill, power, and composure that Atama displayed. This debate reflects a recurring theme in boxing. When a young fighter rises rapidly, critics often search for excuses to discredit their success. Yet, Atama's performance, marked by sharp timing, fearless execution, and raw strength, left little doubt about his legitimacy. The conversation around potential injuries ultimately underscores a reluctance to give emerging stars their due. But Atama's dominance demanded recognition and silenced much of the skepticism.
Gus, there's always and often rumours after a fight when a fighter gets blown out there early that there's some kind of injury. But what really intrigued me building up to this fight, and on the live stream people who see me, I was kind of confused by it, was why this has become a 10-rounder suddenly. I thought this was a 12-round fight. It was for various international belts and all that kind of stuff. I didn't see any reason why this wouldn't be a 12-rounder, especially when it's a pay-per-view main event. And I assumed that the reduction to 10 rounds indicated that there may have been an injury to Atama with him being the A side, but then seeing the fact that Dillian White walked second to the ring tells me he maybe had a bit more negotiating power in this than I first thought, which then leads me to believe that potentially this rumour of him having an injury is actually true, and he wanted to reduce it to 10 rounds because of some sort of pre-fight issue. Now look, again, we don't really know if there was an issue with White, but he did look a bit sort of tender and he walked to the ring somewhat gingerly. I didn't read anything into that because I wasn't sure if he was just relaxed. But look, some people are saying he was injured. Sonny Edwards has posted that on Instagram. Sonny Edwards is obviously someone more in the know than I will ever be in terms of having his finger on the button, hearing rumours and all that kind of stuff. So I'm inclined to believe there may be some truth to it, but at the same time, once again, I want to reiterate, I always predicted Itama to win this fight. I just didn't think he'd do it as quickly as he did. This might explain why Dillian Whyte couldn't even last a few rounds, but at the same time, when I watched back those tactical details that I just showed you, that's stuff Dillian Whyte's always done. That's nothing to do with a leg injury, and I fully believe that Itama's work in there was smart. It was an executed game plan, and would a Dillian Whyte with a leg injury have behaved any differently, or sorry, with or without a leg injury behaved any differently? I don't think so. I think that the issue with Whyte is the reason he couldn't take him rounds, and I texted Jamie, me and Jamie were texting afterwards from Boxing Live, and I said to him, the problem with Whyte is his weaknesses are too well documented. That's why he was not able to go as long as a Balogun, in my opinion. Everybody knows what Dillian Whyte's issues are. I suppose that I just felt he could get in there and survive a bit longer, fight very, very reserved and cautious, and take him rounds and then try and get him to make mistakes. But he couldn't even do that, and I think the biggest thing I've learned from this is that Itama can execute under pressure. And because there was pressure in this fight, don't get me wrong. Now, he said after the fight that the Balogun fight was actually more pressure for him because he was supposed to win that so easily, whereas with this he saw it as a genuine contest, he felt more relaxed. To me, that's fine, you can think that way if you want, but to me there was more pressure in this fight.
The testimony of Mark Tibbs, Dillian Whyte's former trainer, carries undeniable significance with his wealth of experience. For Tibbs to admit being left speechless by a knockout speaks volumes about how shocking the result truly was. His reaction mirrored the feelings of countless fans who watched Moses Itama dismantle Whyte in the very first round. This was not the anticipated outcome. Whyte was expected to be a stern challenge, a benchmark to measure Itama's development. Instead, the fight turned into a stunning display of Itama's raw power and ruthless instinct. For a veteran trainer like Tibbs to openly acknowledge the magnitude of the knockout further validates Itama's rise as one of boxing's brightest young stars.
Just really, mate, it was what we all expected. Really, was hoping we could get 4 or 5 rounds out to see where Moses was at. But he's that good. He's that good. I thought Dillian shaped up well. I thought he was in fantastic nick. But when you're at your twilight years and you're working on your weight, etc., it's taxing. It's taxing on yourself. And I'm pretty sure he had to make some pains. I'm not judging him, but you know, he's trained in a hell of a lot of training camps, and he's very, very diligent in his training. But it just, you know, it's like grandfather time for him, you get me? So it was a difficult task, and we all knew that anyway. But it shows that Moses is been emotionally tested, and obviously he's still got to be built physically. You know, still got to be built physically against someone that's going to give him rounds. So there's the problem. He's that good. He's a phenomenal mover for a heavyweight. Phenomenal. Carries his power with his movement for a heavyweight. And the shot selection he threw yesterday was, you know, what you'd expect from someone of a high intelligent fighter like him. So yeah, credit to Moses, done a fantastic job, and I wasn't surprised.
Was it tough for you to watch a bit? I mean, you've worked with Dillian for years. You know, you've had really good wins with him and good fights with him. Was it tough to see that version last night?
Well, you know what? I know Dillian's mindset of what a dog he is, and with respect, you know, when I use that term dog, he's a real G. He's a real dog.
While many praise Moses Itama's stunning victory, Sam Jones offered a more cautious perspective. He noted that the fight did not answer key questions about Itama's chin, stamina, or ability to endure deeper rounds under sustained pressure. The contest ended too quickly to truly test those aspects, leaving analysts with many of the same uncertainties they had before. From this angle, the win over Dillian Whyte, while spectacular, did not provide the complete picture of Itama's capabilities. This measured view is important because it tempers excitement with realism. Greatness is never proven in a single night, no matter how dramatic. Still, what cannot be disputed is that Itama has firmly established himself as the heavyweight division's most impelling rising star.
It's like he didn't take away, it doesn't really ask the questions. We don't know anything new about Moses. We know he's special. We know he's fast. We know he can punch. We know he's just he looks the real deal, doesn't he? He didn't answer any questions. It was pretty much one of the easiest fights of his career, if not the easiest fight of his career last night.
Were you disappointed in Dillian's performance at all?
No, because look, he's 37, 38. I mean, I tweeted on the ring walk, he don't look at the races. There was no wolf howl. There was no, like, you know what I mean? Dillian's aggressive. Dillian's an aggressive guy. Like, I've not felt that. I felt like it's been a fed up Dillian. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was not the Dillian Whyte we're used to seeing. But look, it's hard because you don't want to downplay Moses' performance, because look, Moses has to go in there and beat who's put in front of him. The matchmaking was perfect. It's a great scalp. He's 20 years old, deserves all the credit in the world. But again, we have to judge on what we saw on Dillian's side, and he wasn't at the races.
We're hearing that he went into the ring with a possible injury. Is there any that you've heard on your end?
Yeah, I've heard it all week. But look.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned tomorrow.